So I was talking to myself of I was still here in 5 years' time. How I would explain or this experience, I would actually say it's been traumatizing because of the volume and under the intense pressure we've had to work. You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only option. Whether it's myself or my staff, it have been absolutely amazing, incredible. And I would hate our society to ever have to go through this ever again. We couldn't have planned for COVID. We could not have planned for what was, it was just a deluge. It was a tsunami, actually. And sometimes I reckon it too, being on a yacht and all of a sudden you hit a gale, a hurricane of the strongest force. And so everything was just being hammered. We were in sort of like, our wet weather gear would have been masks and our helmets and wearing aprons. And then it gradually, we've stayed in this sort of high, sort of bad weather mode the whole way through. It has levelled off just slightly. People have been really stressed, and when they come to the door, they tend to take it out on us. And on the whole, we've all managed to cope with it, but every now and again, unfortunately, you've lost it at somebody because probably they've deserved it actually. Controlled access to the pharmacy, and that's been a huge thing. And I never thought I'd ever shut the big roller door at the front of the store, and that was closed from that Monday just before lockdown. We've been gradually changing the way we practiced here in the pharmacy to make ourselves safer. And it's so 2 weeks before lockdown, we started with keeping people 1 to 2 metres away from the counter, and we had cones up and signs up. The week before lockdown, we became contactless with prescriptions, which our initial process wasn't very smooth. We slowly refined those processes. So we had staff meetings. The staff came at 8 o'clock and didn't really open until 10 o'clock, until we got ourselves organised how we were going to cope with the public, and they just had to wait. And it's the first time I've ever been late opening the pharmacy ever. For COVID-19, it was a gradual creep, just a bit like the disease itself. It was a gradual creep, and it started probably late February, early March. The demand for hand sanitizer, face masks, gloves really started to ramp up, and it got to the point where we didn't have any and couldn't supply it. And then gradually you sort of got a couple of suppliers came to you, and you'd buy in a gross of hand sanitizer. It would come in at 10 o'clock in the morning and be gone by 4 o'clock in the afternoons. Then the demand for prescriptions started as a slow ramp, but that ramp just got steeper and steeper and steeper. And the week prior to lockdown, prescriptions were just unreal. So a huge number of new prescriptions, 3 months stat, and everybody getting any repeat they'd ever thought of in their life. We spent a lot of time chasing prescriptions because doctors were just sending them. I don't know where they sent them, but then we'd have to try and find them and trace them down and then dispense them. Under COVID-19, we just assume that anything a customer brings to the pharmacy or they themselves are positive for COVID. And so if they present a prescription, we don't touch it. So we ask them to put it into a basket, and then we take a photo of it, and then we email it to ourselves onto a shop email. And then we just literally tip that prescription into a box and don't touch it, and then throw them all into a plastic bag at the end of the day. And if somebody presents with a repeat and they've bought in their old bottle or box or something like that, we'll probably just take a photograph of it or ask them to drop it into a basket. And then we just throw it straight away into the contaminated rubbish bin. If it's a non-urgent prescription, they can leave it at the front roller door, which is down, and there's a box for them to drop their prescription in. Or they can come and queue in the alleyway beside the pharmacy, and we let them in one at a time. Once we've triaged them for any symptoms, then they come in and they stand in a box or stand in a square on the carpet in front of the main counter, which I had a plastic screen made, so it's to really reduce that contact with the patients. And then we get their prescription, or they hand in their prescription, or we get whatever they would like out of the rest of the shop. It's we're their personal shopper. So the customer does not walk around the shop self-selecting like in a supermarket. With suspected COVID, for example, somebody presented and we asked him, have you been in contact with anybody with COVID? He said, yes, I've just had a COVID test, but I won't get the result back for 48 hours. Can I come in and buy something? No, you can't come in and buy something. Please return to your car and we'll deal with you over the phone.